My number one buy is Baker Mayfield,
Oh,
number
go
6
for it.
quarterback
Go
of the Cleveland Browns, future Super Bowl champion in February 2022, coming to a television near you. Can't wait. So why?
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Why, besides my heart, am I telling you to buy Baker Mayfield? Right? We all know I love him, but I love him for a reason, and it helps. He's the quarterback to the Cleveland Browns. That does help.
But you haven't loved all the Browns quarterbacks.
Oh, certainly not. A majority I have not loved. But this is a quarterback who I loved on tape coming out of college. He's one of the better college quarterbacks that I have had a pleasure of watching film on. So why should you buy Baker Mayfield for your fantasy football team? This is a quarterback that finishes QB 17. Now, I've been doing a lot of mock drafts lately just for fun on DynastyNerds.com. It's been pretty fun. And he's going right around quarterback 14, 15, right around there. Like, he's a mid-round quarterback too. Now, I like Baker Mayfield much better than that. Now, he was QB 17 on the year, and even as on a points per game average, which is another good way to judge fantasy football players on their points per game average. He was QB 17 all around. But I want to dig deeper than that on Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker Mayfield, we got to remember last year as well, had those 3 consecutive games where it was just terrible weather.
Gross.
And they cannot throw the football whatsoever. So after that, from week 12 on, when the weather subsided a little bit and the sun shined down on my beautiful Cleveland Browns to be a good football team, from week 12 on, Baker Mayfield was QB 8 on the year. QB 8. And that includes week 16 versus the Jets, where his entire offense had COVID and he had nobody around him. And he only scored,
receivers.
Literally, no receivers. He scored 8 points. So despite that week of week 12, he was still QB 8 from week 12 on. That says a lot, because if you bump his point, I did the math. If you average his point per up, they went up a little bit. He would have been up there right around tied QB 7, QB 6 under Tom Brady and whatnot. Sure. So it wasn't a massive bump. And every quarterback has a down game. So I'll take that 8-point game just to prove a point where he was still QB 8 on the year. And I'm not sitting there validating Baker Mayfield as QB 1 overall. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Not in the offense he's in. It's just not going to happen. But he's going back to a system where he was QB 8 on the second half of the year, where he finally had familiarity. It's his first time in 5 years where he's going to have the same coaching staff, same offensive coordinator going into a season. So not only that, but he has the best offensive line in football. He's getting a healthy Odell Beckham Jr. back who has a lot to prove. The tight ends, which usually take a full year to develop into a system, all 3 of those tight ends are coming back in a heavy 12 personnel system. You have Austin Hooper, David Njoku, and Harrison Bryant, who's a great buy as a tight end as well. So he's getting all those guys coming back. And from QB 8 on, you got to look at the guys that he was beating out, even with that Jets performance. He beat out Justin Herbert. He beat out Pat Mahomes. He did have one more game than Pat Mahomes, but still, he had 8 more points in him. Let's say Pat Mahomes could have had an 8-point game. Beat out Pat Mahomes, beat out Matt Ryan, beat out Kyler Murray, beat out Russell Wilson, beat out Matt Stafford, and beat out the Dynasty darling right now at quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So it wasn't like he was just out here beating out turd Ferguson's. He was just playing really good football. Yeah. And I look for that to continue right off the bat in the next year. Great offensive line, tons of weapons, and a very accurate quarterback. And that's what I want my quarterbacks to be. We've been preaching this on this podcast for 7 years out of quarterbacks. Like, we don't care if they could throw 70 yards from their knees. Plays like that don't happen in the NFL. I want my quarterback to be smart. I want to be accurate. It's the reason why Peyton Manning was always at the top of the game. It's the reason why Tom Brady was a quarterback and won again last year in year after, because he gets the ball out quick and he's really smart and he's really accurate with the football. And this is what Baker Mayfield brings. Now, when you get a quarterback that's going 15, 16 in startups, 14, that screams value to me, right? Almost like Ryan Tannehill could be on this. Ryan Tannehill was quarterback number 8 overall last year. Quarterback 7, I think, the year before that. Or flip-flops, one of the two. But he's a top 8 quarterback back-to-back years. And you can argue Baker Mayfield has a better offensive line. He has equal to run game. He's got better receiving core overall as it stands right now until they get Julio Jones on his roster as well. And a better tight end room as well. So I look at Baker Mayfield as a Ryan Tannehill comp. And then to me, that's a really good thing because Ryan Tannehill for 2 years straight now has been a top 8 fantasy football quarterback.
Yeah.
So if Baker Mayfield is quarterback 12 overall, where on a position where literally every position you are does make a difference. This isn't tight end, right? Where tight end 6 and tight end 15 are the same guy. Every quarterback, every position you're in, it matters. Like being a QB1 matters. So if Baker Mayfield could finish anywhere from QB8 to QB12 as a QB1, and you're getting him for a quarterback 15 kind of value, I love that. And that's the kind of position moves I like to make in Dynasty Fantasy Football. They're not all like, sometimes I'm flipping good players for good players, right? Like one of my guys who's a sell, he's not a sell because I think he's a bad player. It's just I don't like his ADP or his value is. That's,
I'm the same exact way.
That's how I play Dynasty. It's just I'm looking to squeeze the value out of everything I can possibly get. If I like a player, but I get a player who I think is equal to plus a little bit, I'm always going to take the plus because anytime I get a little bit of plus on my side, that's how you get a full roster of depth and good fantasy football players, which helps you make these small moves by slowly upgrading positions, right? Like you can give a good player for a good player, but then get a little bit of plus on top, which can end up being either a good player or with a draft pick or a good player with another trading piece,
absolutely.
all in all. So for me, Baker Mayfield's my number one buy, not only because I love him, it's just I think the value is not where it should be. And I think it will recorrect itself after the 21 season and they win the Super Bowl and he has a great year. I think people are going to come piling in and I can't wait. But now's the value.
Right.
Again, it's about buying when you should buy. Now's the time to buy.
And I do love the point that you made about, it's not his overall performance because he was in the first year in that scheme. And I think you do have to kind of look at those people differently than the people that are in an established kind of system that they're used to, because the second half of the season when everyone, the whole entire offense is more comfortable, including like your rookie left tackle and a lot of other moving pieces, that's the kind of, I think, the data that will hold up long term, in my opinion. So I like the fact that he was whatever he ended up 15 or something like that.
Quarterback 17.
I could definitely see him finishing much higher, just like he did, similar to the second half of last year.
One of the things we talk about the longevity of quarterback, and that is true for the good quarterbacks, but there are plenty of quarterbacks that are kind of in his range right now that I have serious concerns about whether or not they'll still be the team starting quarterback in 2 or 3 seasons from now. We're looking at guys in that range. Matt Ryan, how much longer does he have? Maybe he's Tom Brady and he keeps going forever. But I believe he's 36 or 37.
I think he's 36. Yeah.
That's a decade on Baker.
Yeah. So, he's in that range. Jalen Hurts, how much longer will he be the starter? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. Kirk Cousins, he just had a 3rd-round quarterback drafted right behind him that they really like and, hearing good things about.
And the Vikings came on that Carolina report inside Carolina, the Panthers, that the Vikings tried to trade up number 8 to get Justin Fields.
Right.
So they're
have
ready to move.
Yeah, they have an eye to the future for sure at their quarterback
Derek
position.
Carr's in that position. Like, there's just so many guys that, like, we feel okay about right now. Baker Mayfield, we know he is going to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns for the long haul. There's no concerns about that. I'm not worried about that value tanking anytime soon. So it's a much more safe investment than some of these other investments.